Hello and welcome dear students. Today we will start with class 9 geography chapter number 4 climate. This is the first part of the chapter. Now in this chapter students will learn about the atmospheric conditions that prevail over our country. Why do we wear woolen clothes in December? And why it is hot and uncomfortable in the month of May? Why it rains in June, July? The answer to all these questions can be found out by studying about the climate of India. And this is the reason why this chapter is introduced to you. So, climate. You might be very much confused about between climate and weather. So, first of all, we will clear that what is climate, what is the difference between climate and weather. Let us talk about weather. Weather refers to the state of the atmosphere over an area at any point of time. The element of weather are temperature, atmospheric pressure, wind speed, humidity and precipitation. Weather means it refers to the state of atmosphere of an area at any point of time. For example, today's weather, maximum 29 degrees Celsius and minimum 24 degrees Celsius. Means for a shorter period of time, one day, that is one day, this is temperature of one day, and for a smaller area. Weather is the atmospheric condition of a smaller area for a shorter period of time. Likewise, what we say, today's weather, maximum temperature 29 degrees Celsius and minimum temperature 24 degrees Celsius of Gorakhpur. So, it is a short period of time of one day and smaller area. This is what you call is weather. Let us see again. Weather is the state atmosphere at any point in time and space. It changes every moment. Means just now it is cloudy, but after some time it will be sunny, dry, windy, wet. That is what you call is weather. And if I talk about climate, climate refers to the sum total of weather condition and variation over a large area for a long period of time. And that long period of time is more than 30 years. There are many types of climate: monsoon type of climate, desert type of climate, Caribbean type of climate. So, for a larger area and for a larger span of time, that is approximately 30 years. So, the climate record also includes extreme values such as record high temperatures and record amount of rainfall. It is the long term weather of that area which remains at least for 30 years, long period of time. So, this is the basic difference between climate and weather. Now, there are some elements of weather and climate. Now, what are those elements? Temperature, atmospheric pressure, wind, humidity and precipitation. Let us see one by one. Now, what is temperature? Temperature is a measure of how hot or cold something is. Specifically, a measure of the average kinetic energy of the particles in an object. which is the type of energy associated with motion. I know it is quite tough for you, but simply you should know the temperature is a measure of how hot or cold something is. Now, second element is atmospheric pressure. That pressure is called atmospheric pressure or air pressure. It is the force exerted on a surface by the air above its gravity pull it to earth. Atmospheric pressure is commonly measured with barometer. You can see in the image also. Here you can see in the image the air pressure on the earth is called atmospheric pressure, and it is measured by barometer. Next element is wind. Wind is the flow of gases on large scale. Simple. Now, humidity. Humidity, a quantity representing the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere or in a gas, means amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere, that is called humidity. Next element is precipitation, falling products of condensation in the atmosphere such as rain, snow or hail. The amount of rain, snow, hail that has fallen at a given place within a given period, usually expressed in inches or centimeter of water. This is what we call is precipitation, rainfall, snowfall or hail. This is what we call is precipitation. So, what are the elements? Elements of weather and climate: temperature, atmospheric pressure, wind, humidity and precipitation. Now, the climate of India is described as monsoon type. The climate of India is described as monsoon type. In summer, the mercury occasionally touches 50 degrees Celsius in some parts of Rajasthan desert, whereas it may be around 20 degrees Celsius in Pahalgam in Jammu. On a winter night, temperature at Dras in Jammu and Kashmir may be as low as minus 45 degrees Celsius. Thiruvananthapuram, the capital of Kerala, on the other hand, may have a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. So, difference is there. What are the reasons behind these differences? What are the reasons? So, the reason is the climatic controls. There are 6 major controls of the climate of any place. They are latitude, altitude, pressure and wind system, distance from the sea, ocean currents and relief features. So, first of all, let us see that what is latitude. Due to the curvature of the earth, the amount of solar energy received varies according to the latitude. You might have heard about different heat zones in class 8th or 7th. It is divided into different heat zones. Torrid zone, the heatest part. After that, temperate zone, and the third one is your frigid zone. This is what we call is latitude. And due to the curvature, means sphere shape, spherical shape of the earth, the amount of solar energy received varies according to the latitude. The Tropic of Cancer passes through the middle of the country, from the Run of Kutch in the west to Mizoram in the east. Almost half of the country lying south of the Tropic of Cancer belongs to the tropical area. All the remaining area, north pole of the tropic, lies in the subtropic. Therefore, India's climate has characteristics of tropical as well as subtropical climates. Now, second climatic control is means first is latitude, on which latitude it falls. Sun rays are coming directly or according to the curvature or the sphere shape of the earth. Second is your altitude. Altitude, height. As one goes from the surface of the earth to higher altitude, the atmosphere becomes less dense and temperature decreases. Many of the times during summers we visit to a hill station. Why? Because it is cold. India has mountains to the north which have an average height of about 6,000 meters. India also has a vast coastal area where the maximum elevation height is about 30 meters. The Himalayas prevent the cold winds from the Central Asia from entering the subcontinent. It is because of these mountains that this subcontinent experiences comparatively milder winters as compared to Central Asia. Now, the third one is your pressure and wind system. The pressure and wind system of an area depends on the latitude and altitude of the place. Thus, it influences the temperature and rainfall pattern. Different pressure and wind system will discuss in the later half of this part. Now, fourth climate control is distance from the sea. Distance from the sea. As the distance from the sea increases, its moderating influence decreases and the people experience extreme weather conditions. This condition is known as continentality. It is called continentality. Now, fourth climate control is your ocean current. Ocean currents along with onshore winds affect the climate of the area. For example, any coastal area with warm or cold ocean currents flowing past it will be warmed or cooled if the winds are onshore, means from sea to the shore. Winds is flowing from sea to the shore. If it is hot, that area will be hotter. If it is cold, the area will be cooler. And the last feature is your relief. It plays a major role in determining the climate of a place. High mountains act as barriers for cold or hot winds. They may also cause rainfall if they are high enough and lie in the path of rain-bearing winds. So, total 6 climate controls are there: latitude, altitude, pressure and winds, distance from the sea, and finally ocean currents and relief. Now, students, there are some terms used in the chapter. We will discuss one by one. First one is your Coriolis force. Now, what is this Coriolis force? It is an apparent force caused by the Earth's rotation. The Coriolis force is responsible for the deflecting towards the right in the northern hemisphere and towards the left in the southern hemisphere. It is a type of force which is responsible for deflecting towards the right in the north hemisphere, towards the right, you can see these circles, towards the right, and in southern hemisphere towards the left. In southern hemisphere you will see it is towards the left. Why? Because of the rotation of the earth. This is what you call is Coriolis force. It is an apparent force caused by the earth's rotation. The Coriolis force is responsible for deflecting winds towards the right in the northern hemisphere and towards the left in the southern hemisphere. This is also known as Ferrel's law. Ferrel''S, Ferrel's law. You can easily see that in northern hemisphere this pressure is towards the right, but in the southern hemisphere this pressure is towards the left. This is what we call is Coriolis force, and this is caused due to rotation of earth. Now the next one is your jet stream. The upper air circulation in the region is dominated by westerly flow. Westerly means here westerly, west से आने वाली, from west to east. An important component of this flow is the jet stream. Now what are jet streams? These are a narrow belt of high altitude. They flow at the altitude of 12,000 meter, and these are westerly winds, means they come from west and goes towards the east direction. Their speed varies from about 110 km per hour in summer to about 184 km per hour in winter. A number of separate jet streams have been identified. The most constant are mid-latitude and the subtropical jet stream. So basically these are the westerly streams which come from west and flows towards east at an altitude, at an height of 12,000 meter, and during summers their flow is 110 km per hour, and during winter the flow is 184 km per hour. And there are 3 or 4 jet streams which have been identified. In that the most constant one is mid latitude and the subtropical jet streams. Now next one is ITCZ, that is Intertropical Convergence Zone. Now what is Intertropical Convergence Zone? It is a broad trough of low pressure in equatorial latitudes. This is where the northeast and southeast trade winds converge, and this convergence zone lies more or less parallel to the equator but moves north or south with the apparent movement of earth. Look at this. This air coming from this way, from east, and this pressure of wind coming from west. They join together and goes towards this way, towards north, towards the north. This is Intertropical Convergence Zone, as you can see in the figure. Now Southern Oscillation. Southern Oscillation, normally when tropical eastern South Pacific Ocean experiences high pressure, the tropical eastern Indian Ocean experience low pressure. But in certain years there is a reversal in the pressure condition. This periodic change is known as Southern Oscillation, SO. The difference in pressure over Tahiti and Darwin, these are the islands in the northern Australia, is computed to predict the intensity of the monsoon. A feature connected with SO is the El Nino phenomenon, in which a warm ocean current that flows past the Peruvian coast in the place of the cold Peruvian current every 2 to 5 years. The changes in pressure condition are connected to the El Nino. Therefore, this phenomenon occurs, that is southern oscillation. So again, I would like to repeat about the Coriolis force. What is Coriolis force? It is an apparent force caused by the Earth's rotation. The Coriolis force is responsible for deflecting winds towards the right in the northern hemisphere and towards the left in the southern hemisphere. This is also known as Farrell's law. You have to learn these terms. Now after that is jet streams. What are jet streams? These are a narrow belt of high altitude above 12,000 meter. These are westerly winds, means they come from west and flow towards east in the troposphere. Their speed in summer is approximately 110 km per hour, and in winters it is 184 km per hour. A number of jet streams have been identified till now. Now, intertropical convergence zone, what is that? The intertropical convergence zone, ITCZ, is a broad trough of low pressure in equatorial latitude. This is where the northeast and the southeast trade winds converge. Means they converge, means they come towards each other. This convergence zone lies more or less parallel to the equator, but moves north either upside or downside, means north or south with the apparent movement of the sun. It depends on the movement of the sun. Now after that, I told you about southern oscillation and El Nino. Southern oscillation, what is southern oscillation? Apart from this, it has been also noticed that changes in the pressure condition over southern oceans also affect monsoons. Normally, when the tropical eastern South Pacific Ocean experiences high pressure, the tropical eastern Indian Ocean experiences low pressure. It means in Pacific Ocean it is high pressure and in Indian Ocean it is low pressure. And there is reversal also, means just opposite of that, means in Pacific Ocean the pressure is low and in Indian Ocean the pressure is high. And the eastern Pacific has a low pressure, means reversal is also there, means in Pacific and Indian Ocean, first what happens, that high pressure is there in Pacific Ocean, low pressure is there in Indian Ocean, and reversal of it means low pressure in Pacific Ocean and high pressure in Indian Ocean. This periodic change in pressure condition is known as southern oscillation. This is what we call is southern oscillation. Now El Nino. This is a name given to the periodic development of a warm ocean current along with coast of Peru as a temporary replacement of cold Peruvian current. El Nino is a Spanish word meaning the child. It refers to the baby Christ as this current starts flowing during Christmas. The presence of the El Nino leads to an increase in sea surface temperatures and weakening of trade winds in the region. El Nino is also responsible for rainfall. Now after this, we'll study about the 4 main seasons in India. The cold weather season, that is winter, the hot weather season, that is summer, advancing monsoon, the rainy season, and retreating monsoon, that is transition season, means when monsoon gets back. But these 4 seasons we'll study in the next part. I hope you understood and your doubts are most welcome.